Most people will work their entire life and never figure out why they stay broke. And it's not because they're lazy. It's because nobody ever told them this. I'm about to tell you the one thing that actually separates people who make real money from people who just talk about it. Okay, so let's be real with each other for a second. You've probably watched 100 videos about making money. Maybe you've tried a few things: freelancing, dropshipping, content creation, some affiliate marketing thing your cousin told you about. And some of it worked a little. Maybe you made a few bucks here and there. But it never really stuck. It never snowballed into something real. And the frustrating part is you're not dumb. You're not lazy. You're actually paying attention. So what's the deal? Here's what I genuinely believe, after going through this myself and watching a lot of other people go through it too. The strategy was never your problem. Your relationship with money and success was. And that is what nobody wants to talk about because it's uncomfortable. It forces you to look inward instead of just buying another course or watching another tutorial. But if you actually want to go from zero to your first real $20,000, we got to talk about this. I'm not going to sit here and tell you some dramatic story about hitting rock bottom just to make this video more interesting. That's not what this is. What is true is that I was stuck. I had a small income, barely covering expenses, and I had all these ideas, but none of them were going anywhere. I kept thinking the problem was the idea itself, or the platform, or the timing. But after a while, I had to get honest with myself. The common factor in every failed attempt was me. Not my talent, not my effort, but the way I was thinking about money and opportunity. That realization was the actual turning point. There's a concept called the scarcity mindset, and this isn't motivational fluff. Researchers at Princeton and Harvard actually studied this. When people are constantly stressed about not having enough money, their cognitive capacity literally decreases. Their brain is so busy managing financial stress that there's less mental bandwidth left for problem solving and long-term thinking. In plain English, being broke and stressed about being broke makes it harder to think clearly about how to stop being broke. It's a real cycle, and it affects your decisions in ways you don't even notice. For example, you get a small opportunity, but because you're in survival mode, you rush it, underprice yourself, or give up too early because you need results right now. You make a little money, and because your brain isn't used to having a buffer, you spend it immediately instead of reinvesting. You see someone else winning, and instead of studying what they did, your brain goes into comparison mode, and you feel defeated. None of this is a character flaw. It's a pattern, and patterns can be changed. So here's the real shift. And I want you to actually think about this, not just nod along. Broke thinking is reactive. Building thinking is proactive. Broke thinking says, what can I do to make money this week? Building thinking says, what can I create or learn right now that will pay me consistently 3 months from now? That sounds simple, but actually living by that second question is genuinely hard when your account is low and your bills are due. The way I started practicing this shift was by asking myself one question every morning. Am I making today's decision based on fear or based on direction? Fear-based decisions are always short-term. Direction-based decisions build something. When I started filtering my choices through that question, what to work on, who to work with, what to learn, what to say no to, things started moving differently. Not overnight, not with some magic formula, but steadily and consistently over time. Real progress that actually compounded. All right, let's get into the 3 specific shifts that made the most difference. These are real, no fluff. Shift number 1. Solve problems instead of chasing money. Every person I've seen make their first real income online had one thing in common. They identified something specific that people actually needed, and they got good at providing it. Not a trendy business model, not a get-rich-quick thing. A real skill or service that solved a real problem. When your focus is, how do I get paid? You're always chasing. When your focus is, what does someone genuinely need and how can I get good at providing that? Opportunities start finding you. This is basic economics, honestly. Value creation comes before income. Shift number 2. Your environment shapes your ceiling. This one is real, and research backs it up. You're heavily influenced by the people around you, their beliefs, their habits, their relationship with money and risk. That doesn't mean you cut off everyone you love, but it does mean you need to be intentional about finding at least some people, even online communities, mentors, podcasts, who are thinking at the level you want to reach. Your inputs shape your thinking shapes your actions shape your results. It's not deep, it's just true. Shift number 3. Boring consistency beats occasional brilliance every time. This isn't exciting advice, but it's the most honest thing I can tell you. The people I've seen go from nothing to their first 10,000, 20,000 and further, they weren't the smartest people in the room. They weren't always the most talented. They were the ones who kept showing up when it wasn't working yet. Building a skill, building an audience, building a client base, all of it takes longer than you think at first. There's a period where the input feels way bigger than the output. Most people quit in that period. The ones who don't, they're the ones who eventually look up and realize the momentum snuck up on them. That's not motivational poster talk. That's just how skill building and trust building actually work. Look, I'm not going to promise you that one video changes your life, but I will tell you this honestly. The difference between where you are and where you want to be is almost never about information. You have access to more information than any generation in history. It's about how you think, what you believe is possible for you, whether you're making decisions from fear or from direction. $20,000 isn't a number that changes everything, but the version of you that builds towards it, that learns, stays consistent, solves real problems, and thinks long-term even when it's uncomfortable, that version of you is who actually changes your life. And you can start becoming that person today. Not when the timing is perfect, not when you have more resources, right now with what you have. All right, that's what I got for you today. If this actually made you think about something differently, even one small thing, drop it in the comments. Tell me which shift hit hardest for you. I read the comments and it genuinely helps me make better videos. If you're new here and this felt real to you, subscribe. I don't do hype. I don't fake results, just honest conversations about building something real. Like the video if it was worth your time, share it with someone who needs to hear this. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourself out there.